back, everyone. It's a warm -8 degrees. When I started my journey this morning, it was like -12. Not the coldest I've ever seen or driven this aging Silverado in, but up there, you know, closer to the coldest thing I've ever driven in, for sure. But anyway, not the point of this video. The point of this video is we're going to talk about why city fuel economy kind of doesn't matter. And I know what you're thinking. Well, that's kind of a weird thing to say. Fuel economy always matters. Well, let me explain. So, most people just look at fuel economy numbers on a window sticker of a new car and just kind of take them for face value, and they're either satisfied or not satisfied with whatever that number is, and they move on with their life. Well, one of the big advertising points of hybrid cars is that they tend to get better city fuel economy than highway because you have less wind resistance, and they're able to, in some cases, they're able to recapture electricity from braking because they've got regenerative braking. So they might get like the F-150 Lightning, for example. And I don't know the numbers off the top of my head. I'll put them on the screen, but let's just say it's advertised at, not the Lightning, I'm sorry, the hybrid one. Let's just say it gets 21 city, 19 highway, or 21 city, 25 city, 21 highway kind of thing. You'll find that's a little bit higher in the city. But I'm here to tell you that actually kind of doesn't matter. And I think a lot of hybrid vehicles make a little bit less sense sometimes financially if the highway fuel economy is not high enough, more than the gas-only version, than you might think. And here's why I say that. I know what you're thinking. Well, what if you only drive in the city? You really never go on the interstate. You never go on the highway, like state road highways. Well, here's the deal. On an interstate, traveling, upwards of 80 miles per hour, you're covering 80 miles in 1 hour of time. So your fuel consumption rate is very high on a per hour basis. And that's the thing that people don't really consider. So if I drive an entire day at 80 miles an hour, I've essentially burned as much fuel as possible, within the confines or close to the confines of most interstate law. You can burn, in even a smaller car, you can easily burn, say, $100 worth of fuel. You burn a pretty costly amount of fuel. That being said, the other thing you need to consider is the amount of time that then takes to do. So if I'm, just to keep simple numbers here, let's say I have a really efficient car that's getting 40 miles per gallon. I'm going 80 miles per hour. I'm burning 2 gallons of fuel per hour. So in most places, gas is about $3 to $4 a gallon, so we'll just call it $3 a gallon to be on the low side. So you're burning $6 an hour if you drive for 10 hours straight. 6 times 10, you're burning $60 in fuel. Now, that's a really fuel-efficient car. So if it's all of a sudden 20 miles per gallon, you've now burned $120 for the fuel. So most people are going to be close to that $100 figure, give or take, per day. Let's just say, in like a normal car. If you're driving a 3/4 ton, 1 ton truck, it's going to be even more. But anyway, so you're burning $100 of fuel per day, let's just say. You're on the highway for 10 hours to do that. So, with some stops to go to the bathroom and everything else, maybe you're burning 11 or 11 and a half hours of your day. So from a cost perspective, that $100 in gas, if you're getting paid $25 an hour at a job, that's 4 hours worth of work. That's like kind of a lot of money. If you're getting paid $100 an hour at a job, well, it's an hour of work. It's not as much money. Okay, fine. Depends on your income level, of course. But regardless of your income level, if you're driving around in the city, and let's just say that let's say that 40 mile per gallon car is only getting 20 miles per gallon in the city, for argument's sake. Obviously, that's not realistic, but that'll prove my point. If you're driving around for that same 10 hours in the city, you're probably only going, on average, because of red lights, because of traffic, everything else, 10, maybe 20 miles per hour, but you'd be surprised how low your miles per hour figure is. Now, 80 is just driving time, right? I'm saying it might be like an 11 and a half hour day. But anyway, so in this case, just for argument's sake, again, let's just say you're going like 15, 20 miles per hour on average, and in the city you are, driving for 10 hours in the city. Well, now all of a sudden, at 20 miles per hour, you are burning a gallon of gas, or half a gallon of gas per hour in the 40 mile per gallon example. So in 10 hours, you're burning 5 gallons of gas. 5 times 3, you're burning $15 of gas in 10 hours at 40 miles per gallon. You're burning $30 in gas at 20 miles per gallon. So even if your car got half the fuel economy in the city than what it does on the highway, you'd be burning $30 in gas in an entire day of driving versus 100-ish. So that is just so much lower. You're less than 3 times the amount of gas, and again, that's an unrealistic scenario. It's actually even less than that, but you're less than a third of the amount of gas, and you've driven all day. And then again, to put it into perspective, if you're spending $30 in gas just total for that day, and you've spent a whole day driving, if you're otherwise working a job where you're making $25 an hour, well, I mean, you only spend an hour's worth of gas. If you're making, say, $100 an hour, a really good paying job, then all of a sudden, you're only spending a third of an hour of gas. So, of your pay in gas. So, very cheap to drive around in the city just in general because you're not going as far. And that's the thing I think people don't really realize and understand. And that's not to say that having a car that gets better city fuel economy isn't better, because it surely is better to get better mileage. Like, nobody's complaining about that. But I just think people get really hung up on fuel economy numbers. And if you're the kind of person who drives 5,000 miles a year, mostly city, I mean, it kind of just doesn't matter. I mean, if you are very, very, very paycheck to paycheck, and you have a job that, you need to be careful about how much you're spending, then sure. I mean, I definitely think it makes a huge difference. But if you're, doing okay for yourself and you've got a little bit above average salary, I mean, you're in the noise of your Starbucks coffee in the morning is costing a more significant portion of money than the additional gas you're going to spend because of car gets a little bit worse fuel economy kind of thing. So, just something to consider there. And, I don't know, food for thought. Anyways, as always, everyone, thanks for watching. God bless America, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.